Hello everyone, this is Leila. I'm a financial advisor working in China. Many people ask how does China train AI without enough Nvidia GPUs? And is China just copying OpenAI? And why hasn't China developed a supermodel like the GPT-5? So before we dive into these questions, let's zoom out a little bit. So there is a global battle over AI. On one side, you have a small tiny group called the tech elite in the US pushing what some experts call the extreme acceleration. Their idea is to move faster, build the biggest and most powerful AI system, and let a few superhuman dominate that. Sounds familiar? Yes, it is basically Silicon Valley's dream. So more power, more control, more profits, but ordinary people get left behind. That is scary. AI shouldn't always serve the rich and powerful. But there is another path, and China's approach shows that we don't have to accept the Silicon Valley's word. The China's AI strategy focuses on practicability, fairness, and usability. So it is about putting AI in everyone's hand: factories, schools, hospitals, and even your home. So here's a key point. It isn't about China versus America. It is about ordinary people versus a concentrated power. So understanding this help us see that there is more than one way to use AI, and we all have a stake inside. So many people ask these three questions relate to how China train AI without enough Nvidia GPU. Is China just not copying OpenAI? And why hasn't China developed a supermodel like the GPT-5? These are common misunderstandings about Chinese AI. I will explain in real story. Use simple words, real numbers, and examples. China is building the world's largest AI computing infrastructure. Computing power is like a horsepower, more faster, smarter AI. So Alibaba plans to invest about 380 billion RMB in AI infrastructure, aiming for 10 times more computing power by 2032. So Tencent, ByteDance, Jingdong, China Mobile, China Unicorn, they all expanding. Think of this as multiple highways connecting every city. China does have some Nvidia GPU, but not enough. So China mixes domestic chips like the Huawei Ascent, Cambricon, Beijing, and some Asian partner chips like Samsung chips. So this avoids a bottleneck, lower the cost by 30 to 50%, and achieve 5 to 10 times higher efficiency than similar US data centers. So in short, China does more with less. In October 2020, the US placed the Huawei on Entity List, banning critical chips, GPUs, and AI tech exports. Headlines scream that China is stuck, but the truth is almost the opposite. Huawei prepared a Plan B years ago with 3,000 engineers. Huawei released Ascend 910B using a 7nm technology, comparable with Nvidia A100, which was first supplied to the Chinese market but later got banned. By the end of the 2024, Huawei captured 30% of China's AI chip market. Cambricon's MLU 590 was 20% faster than Nvidia H20. So this is a China-tailored AI chips provided by Nvidia, but with lower performance. However, after the A100 got banned, the H20 is widely used in AI training. Cambricon's MLU 590 was half the price of the H20. The sales grew by 2,000% in a year. Beijing 100 directly rivaled Nvidia H series and was fully CUDA compatible, allowing companies to switch without rewriting the software. So within 3 months, this company received a 1 billion RMB in order. SME Shanghai Weidianzi. It spent 10 years developing lithographic machines. This sector has long been entirely dominated by ASML, and the export, especially high-end EUV machine to China, has been fully restricted since the year 2019. But in 2024, SME Shanghai Weidianzi, they delivered a 28nm lithography machine, soon upgraded into 14nm. Well, meantime, SMIC, 中芯国际, which is a semiconductor fab in China. They use a multi-exposure technology to achieve a 7nm class chips by using lower-tier DUV lithography machines. So these chips power the Huawei Mate 60, making the first mass production of smartphones equipped with fully domestically made digital chips. So this is a critical milestone for China. For the first time, it has convinced the people that China has break through the high-end chip blockade. China combined Huawei, Cambricon, Biren, and some Samsung and some Nvidia chips to rebuild its AI supply chain just in 3 years. Efficiency is higher because China was always trying to build smaller cooperating cars rather than a single expensive supercar. You can say that China's AI chip industry is a team effort, not just one company. The domestic chips upgrade so fast that 7nm, 12nm, and 5nm technologies are under development. So AI infrastructure is a national project. For the past 2 years, the focus is on foundation. For the next 3 years, domestic chips will of course replace imported ones. And also the energy part. So China has a East Data West Compute project, which moves the data from the East region to the West, where the electricity cost is much cheaper. It is about $3 per 100 kilowatt-hour, much lower than the US and Europe. On top of that, there are a lot of energy-saving technologies, further cut the cost and make AI more sustainable and efficient. So some people wonder that, is China just a copying OpenAI? The answer is no. The ChatGPT has limited Chinese data. It struggles with cultural context and cannot connect to our Chinese domestic real-time data. But Chinese model can. They tap into a much richer mix, like the regional dialects, slang government documents, e-commerce text, customer service chat, and real-time compliant information. This helps the Chinese model to understand the Chinese meaning more accurately. For instance, 提问 scores 92% in accuracy. And the tools like 豆包 and Weixin, they can handle complex Chinese sentences like 他走了1个小时. So right now, English and Chinese are the two industrial languages for AI, a kind of dual core advantage. So Chinese large AI models act like a super brain. They can read, write, see, code, and analyze. Examples include 豆包, Qianwen, Minimax. Yet unlike some massive models that take years to update, Chinese models prioritize speed and real-time problem solving. For example, Qianwen updates roughly every 3 months, while GPT-4 to GPT-5 almost took 2 years. Being efficient matters more being huge. Many Chinese models use a mixture of export approach. They only activate the part that needed for each task. Qianwen 3 has 235 billion parameters, but only 22 billion are active under per task. Running on just 4 GPU is enough. It definitely costs much less than the GPT-5. So most Chinese models are open source, letting small business and developers to build solutions efficiently. A company can deploy a customer service model for just like $1,000. It is much less than the closed model like GPT-4. The cumulative number of downloads of the Chinese open source AI models by global developers has overtaken that of their US competitors. The adoption is massive. The Chinese AI processed 1.1 trillion tokens per day in 2024, then surged to 30 trillion per day in 2025, almost a 27 times increase. Now you start to see that China keeps making its models smaller, faster, and cheaper because Chinese AI is intentionally designed to run on end devices like phones, tablets, cars, VR headsets, home robots, security cameras, and even appliances like washing machines, refrigerators. This is a part that Western audiences probably have zero understanding of. It uses tons of small cheap computing power, like the server box in shopping mall, tiny server rooms in city buildings, and lots of other low-cost spots to power AI. So most foreigners probably don't realize that China's crowded cities and the great telecom networks let the close-by AI computing strategy spread so fast across the whole country. And big platforms like Taobao, Pinduoduo, Meituan, ByteDance, Huawei, and Xiaomi, they already using this way billions of times every day, right on people's phone, appliance, and those small local computing spots. In other countries, this level of large-scale and on-device deployment is almost impossible. So China does not need a single supermodel like the GPT-5. AI is placed where it is needed, becoming part of everyday infrastructure. I want to give you some examples of Chinese consumer AI tools. For the chat, I would recommend Doubao, DeepSeek, Qianwen, Kimi. As such, we have Meta and Nami. The writing and videographic I use every day, that is Jimeng and Keling. For the coding part, it is said Minimax is the best. However, the most powerful applications are in the enterprise sector, especially in manufacturing. China's comprehensive supply chain of consumer electronics, automobile, and hardware generate massive natural demand for AI. So this is a huge advantage that other countries struggle to replicate because they all lack the manufacturing base. I give you two examples, like Yangshan 47. It is a China's flagship automated port, operates on a blend of AI, drone, 5G, and edge computing. Carry loads and unloads autonomously. Drones conduct full port inspections in minutes, and vessels operations are fully digitized. Operators can even control equipment remotely. The result? Faster and fully unmanned port operations. AI-powered quality inspections is also booming in manufacturing. Accuracy has existed 99.9%. We say ATL set a new benchmark by inspecting each battery cell in just 0.1 second. It is totally replacing manual checks, hence reducing the cost by at least 1 million yuan annually for that company. Plus, AI is widely adopted in China's electronic vehicle sector, deeply integrated into core scenarios like the autopilot driving and the intelligent cockpits. So China is also using AI to make government more efficient and bring real benefits to its people. For example, Shenzhen Shenxiaoai AI assistant combines all policies inside and gives 90% accurate answers. In Suzhou, Xiangcheng district, business can upgrade their registration information by AI voice input and QR codes. No need to fill out forms by hand anymore. So let's in the end think about this. The question is who can benefit from AI? So China puts AI in end devices, letting everyday people, not just the tech giant, to benefit from it. So next time I will dive into Chinese real estate and the wealth distribution. See you.